I'm very concerned about what I've already known, but every day it worries me more and more as the enemies of God gain more ground. Some of the things I'm about to say, some of you won't believe, so I'm forced to play a clip. I've tried the tactic of putting articles in my comments, but they don't seem to, force people to admit that I'm right the way that clips do. So, a Christian group is labeled a hate group, American Family Association. So is the Evangelical Christians, well, by the Army. And the Evangelical Christians and the Catholics were labeled a hate group um, by the Air Force. And I believe that Catholicism is the largest sect of Christianity. And many of you are foolish enough to say that, oh, Catholics aren't really Christians. And I'm so sick of this argument. They're actually the first recognized Christian church historically. And they're historically recognized as having the first church, literally. And so it's quite odd that you have people that say, oh, they're not really Christians, What's to stop another sect to say that about you? Oh, Orthodox or Jehovah's Witnesses or Baptists. Come on. Grow up. Okay? It's like saying Shiites or, Alawites, Sunnis aren't really Muslims. And people who say that about each other. But when we're classifying something, yes, Catholics are Christians. Yes, many of them are good people. Yes, they believe in Christ, Anyway, so let me play this clip and I'll finish and I'll talk about my oath and wrap this video up hopefully in under 5 minutes.
Naming that group a hate group was because they opposed gay marriage. That's right. And this is not the first time this has happened. Back in April, I had several stories, and we had reports from around the country of similar sessions where this group and the Family Research Council were labeled hate groups, domestic hate groups. Mm-hmm. And also another briefing, and I believe this was in the Air Force, labeled evangelical Christianity and Catholicism as examples of religious extremism. So there's something going on here. The Pentagon, we tried to talk to them. They told us we needed to talk to the Army. And at that point, the Army, it's been almost 24 hours and we still haven't heard back from them.
A U.S. soldier in our...
Well, excuse me, I believe I said that they were labeled as a hate group, but they're labeled as religious extremism. But, it's basically the same thing if you truly understand. The reason why is because you have to see that we live in a time of homosexuality and feminism. I don't think calling it the homosexual agenda is enough. I mean, it is what it is, but it's not enough. It's not just an agenda. This is the future. Okay, I don't see Christians magically turning the tide on the people in power. People in power, don't take anything but money seriously. The same way that a football player might take football a lot more serious than other things, or a scientist takes science more serious than religion. As soon as somebody tends to be good at something, all of a sudden, or they're in a position where people are going to respect them for that, all of a sudden that matters more to them than religion. It's the ego of man. It's disgusting, really, but it's what it is. So we live in a time where people like me are persecuted for their political views a lot more than they used to be, and with more technology. It's more. As much as I hate to use the word sophisticated, because most of the people who are doing this, they're not too bright. Even the people who understand technology very well, and people who are psychologists, they're not too bright. They spend quite a bit of money persecuting people when there's a lot easier, more straightforward ways to do it to get the job done a lot more efficiently, effectively, and precisely. So instead of precision persecution, we have these expensive, idiotic persecution. And so, I'm not going to help them out by telling them what to do. I already told them too much by giving them the idea that they should change their tactics. But anyway, also the way they do it also exposes what they're doing completely. It exposes how many people are in on it and what kind of cowards are in on it. I haven't seen a single person I consider a very manly man as part of the persecution. It's pretty much, it's like saying I haven't seen a single manly man walking around on the beach in a thong, because it's something a manly man wouldn't do, right? So, yes, I went over the time limit, but okay. Also, I want to elaborate on my oath. I put the elaboration. Let me just draw from my notes. Keep it simple instead of racking my mind. I kind of have a lot of things on my mind, and I don't want to focus on this too much. I just want to say what I gotta say and get it over with. Go back to that. All right. So I made the oath where I said no sex, no holding, no kissing women, and no intimate or romantic relationships. This is what I wrote in the comments. After beating my head against the wall, trying to truly understand my oath, I have come to this conclusion. No holding, in parentheses, hugs do not count. No kissing. No sex, in parentheses, sexual intercourse meaning vaginal penetration and possibly blowjobs. However, lap dances, touching women, phone/cyber sex does not count, though I'm probably too mature to do them with these things. No intimate or romantic relationships, in parentheses, meaning no official relationships with women that involve intimacy, romance, or sex. Of course, no need to mention no homosexual stuff, which is not in those words, as I am not gay, and I have an oath that I am not gay, and not to do that as well. So you homosexuals, not in those words, would get it. Basically, what is going to happen is they're going to start classifying people who talk in a way that I do as people who are doing hate speech, okay? And really, it's not fair, okay? It isn't fair. It's like calling a pedophile, a bad name, like a child, you child fucker. A pedophile's gonna get together and say, oh, that's hate speech. It's a sin. If something is a sin in your religion, and this is especially a major religion, because if you're talking about what's socially normative or what's fair, this is the ideas that started this country. The ideas that they put on paper. Okay. And some of you are going to say, waste my time by saying, oh, well, they used to say black people are 3/5 of men. Okay, but that's not in the Bible. Okay, when we're talking about religion and moral values, they're separated. And, just because people used to justify slavery through the Bible doesn't mean that they're right. People twist the Bible in many different ways. It's sad how people are so illogical about this and so unfair. Recently I made a video where I justify the sodomite suppression bill or act, and I recommend you seeing that for further explanation. I'm pretty much out of time here. But basically, good people are being censored for telling the truth, for telling, what's in the Bible. People are basically accepting the mark of the beast, You think about the number 666, okay? Even if you don't understand what the number truly means, a very basic explanation of it can be geometry and science, okay? If you accept the spiritual implications of geometry and science, which is what the G in Freemasonry, most people take it to mean, most Freemasons take it to mean geometry, sacred geometry. If you say that there's a sacred geometry, or that science has a divineness to it or spirituality to it, then you have forsaken God. And there's a long reason. It goes back to the tree of knowledge and good and evil. And I'm almost out of time, so I can't really get into it. But I get into it in my other videos. You need to watch all my videos. You need to download my videos. I gotta end right there. Thank you.